It's the Orioles on Masson, and the homestand for the O's continues tonight as we start a 4-game set against the Minnesota Twins, a club battling for a division title in a 3-way race in the Central Division. For the Orioles, this homestand, their longest of the season, only 1 win so far and 5 losses. They take on a Minnesota team which is going to be a little short in their offense. Doesn't mean they won't hit, but Justin Morneau is not here, and he is overall, believe it or not, their offensive leader in more categories than anybody else. We will see in this series as well 2 really good young players that baseball is taking notice of. Adam Jones for the Orioles and Delmon Young for Minnesota. Young's just 24 years old, as is Jones. Young came into the season with a 290 career average, Adam in with a 268 career average, and both of them are putting up hit numbers that are at the top of the pile. In Major League Baseball, players under the age of 25 with the most hits: Young, Billy Butler, Evan Longoria, Adam Jones, and Justin Upton. And we'll get to see 2 of those names, Jim Palmer, in this ball game and in this series.
Yeah, you take Morneau out of their lineup. You need somebody to drive in runs. He's hitting over 400. Again, this is a young kid that the Tampa Bay gave to Minnesota to get Garza, who we saw during our series, and also Bartlett, the shortstop. So he's a young player that's gotten himself into shape. He's lost about 30 pounds. He probably doesn't hit as many home runs, not as good defensively as Adam Jones. And then, of course, Adam's been red hot, over 300 now for about 40 games. So, he's an important part of the Oriole offense. So 2 young guys, that are just impact players. And Delmon Young, of course, plays in a little bit bigger ballpark. I saw him down on the field. He goes, can't wait to hit here after hitting the target field, because it's a huge place to hit.
They were all saying that in batting practice today. We'll see how that plays out in the game. Kevin Millwood hopes, at least from Minnesota's side, it doesn't happen. He comes off the DL to make the start in this game. As you see, he has never beaten these Twins with an 0-8 record in 13 starts. And for the Orioles, it would be so nice to have the remainder of this season with Kevin Millwood throwing some W's.
Well, it really would. And, I suppose if he really pitched well tonight and maybe another start, some team may pick him up. But the immediate future for the Orioles is to get him into the 5th or 6th to 7th inning, and he's certainly capable of doing that. To me, the key is that his stuff is better than he thinks it is, and a lot of times he's like a little rat where you see some cheese nibbling around it, where hopefully he'll be aggressive tonight. He's had like 17 days off because of the forearm problem. Maybe that made a little bit difference. He'll be a little more aggressive against a team that he's due to beat.
Now, one of the things to watch for tonight, Kevin Millwood, as we've talked about with so many pitchers, the first innings. Start of the year, Kevin Millwood got through the first innings easily. But the last few starts, the last dozen starts, it's not been pretty.
Well, he's given up first runs to 2 or more in 8 of the last 9 starts, 25 runs. So that's one of my keys to the game. You're going to have to wait for that. But get him out early on, and then make your team think they have a chance to win tonight. That's what starting pitching tried to do.
All right, with Kevin Millwood coming back tonight as we cover the bases, it will be all about Kevin Millwood. We will hear from him, take a look at his career, more importantly, his words.
I am a Duke fan, and I can honestly say that Maryland is not my least favorite team in the ACC.
Orioles baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. And by 5 Hour Energy. Hour of Energy now. Number 2 hours, 30 minutes. Feeling later. Visit 5hourenergy.com. And by Acura Advance. 92 degrees as we get set to start this 4-game set here at Camden Yards. Mostly clear skies and very little, if any, breeze to start this ball game tonight. Minnesota Twins in town. Let's take a look at the starting lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. It'll be Span, Hudson, and Mauer, Kubel, Kadire, and Young, Hardy, Punto, and Butera. Joe Mauer, the MVP last year and the 3-time AL batting champion, is DHing.
And let's take a look at our PNC scouting report brought to you by PNC for the Achiever and all of us. About due. Well, at least the Orioles hope he's about due. 0-8, never has beaten the Twins. They have some pretty incredible numbers. Again, we talked about this in the opening. 25 runs the last 9 starts in the first inning. So first things in, get off to a good start. And my opinion, again, maybe this had something to do with the forearm that got him on the DL. Just be more aggressive. You know, your stuff's better than you think it is. It just strike one's a lot better than ball one, and he's been getting into some hitters counts. Hopefully that will change tonight.
This is a very tough lineup that he faces up and down this lineup. There are some very high averages lifetime against Kevin Millwood. So if the numbers from the past mean anything, this is not an easy start for him in this game with the players who are in the lineup tonight. See Mauer waiting, DH role, not doing the catching tonight. We'll talk about that in a bit. Denard Span will lead it off, a speedster in the leadoff spot. And we are underway as Millwood is back. We'll miss with that one with the ball. These two teams split the games in Minnesota at their new ballpark earlier in the season. 2-2. 1-0 count on Span. 5 for 17 for Span in that series. That's going to miss up high, and Millwood will fall behind on him 2-0. And you do not want him on base with the great speed that he has. 17 stolen bases and 18 chances for Span.
Yeah, he's really their speed guy. Hudson right behind him, runs a little bit, but not to that extent.
2-0 delivery, and he's taking all the way, and it is in there for a strike. And the count goes to 2-1. This is a patient Minnesota team. They do not rely on the home run. They are 10th in the league in homers, but they are 3rd in on-base percentage. They have the 4th most walks in the American League. Span will foul that one away, and Millwood comes back, gets the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, real good with runners in scoring position. One of the best numbers in the league at 290. So if you get on and then you get them in, well, that's a great way to score some runs.
They are 2.5 games behind in the Central Division. They are tied with the Detroit Tigers, with the Chicago White Sox on top in the division. That is a 3-team race now with Kansas City and Cleveland, barring a miracle comeback. Those 2 teams are out of it. 2-2 delivery to Span, and he chops that one off the plate, just protecting that time. He didn't get a good swing, but he got enough to foul it off.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he's about. Earlier in the year on a 5 RBI day, 4 for 4 with 3 triples, so he gets on. I mean, he can really make it go. Of course, now there are 2 strikes. Tejada still playing relatively shallow at third, mainly because of his speed. Doesn't want to give up a hit in front of him.
Span is 3 for 12 lifetime off Millwood. 2-2 delivery to him inside 3-2. You saw Ron Gardenhire. Great to see Gardy back. He had missed a couple of ball games for family reasons and had to go home. Ron Gardenhire wasn't sure if he was going to get back in time for this game, and he arrived late this afternoon. So great to see Gardy back in the dugout, the manager for the Twins. 3 ball, 2 strike count on Span. 7th pitch of the at-bat coming. Span will foul it off, so Span making Millwood work here in his return.
Yeah, and you wonder with the 17 days off, even though you do your sides, you get well, and then you progressively get back into where you think you can execute your pitches. But you don't want to go 3-2. My theory was I do not want to walk this guy. So there's what we talked about. Again, 25 runs in the last 8 out of 9 starts. So again, this team doesn't score a lot of runs. You don't want to be down early.
Here is Span fouling. No, that's over the bag. Fair ball. Good play. Riggington's got it. Fair ball over the bag, and Millwood will win the battle as fans retire.
Take a look at the Orioles' defense tonight. 65 errors from this ball club. P.A. Jones and Markakis, a pretty speedy outfield. Tejada, Esturis, Moore, Wigington. And again with Wieters doing his running, etc., etc. Still on the DL, though, with a hamstring problem. Craig Tatum, who's actually had a really good offensive night on Tuesday behind the dish.
And with one down, that will bring up Orlando Hudson. Hudson is hot. He's got a 10-game hit streak coming into this ball game, and he has hit Millwood hard, 7 for 11 lifetime. And Hudson puts a towering fly ball in the air to shallow center. Jones is there and retired. So after a long at bat for Span, Hudson's retired on one pitch, and there are 2 down. That'll bring up Joe Mauer to the plate, the MVP. And always one the fans want to see. A lifetime 365 mark against the Orioles and a 339 lifetime average here in this ballpark.
Yeah, look at those numbers. That's what you were alluding to.
Look at the bottom.
Wow.
That average, 383, is the combined starting lineup that you see right there of these Minnesota Twins. I mean, that is a big number.
I hope they didn't tell Kevin.
He probably has an inkling, but doesn't want to know.
He doesn't really want to know.
No.
I can understand why.
Joe Mauer will take it for a strike. Mauer is not catching tonight. Kind of interesting. Carl Pavano's got a personal catcher, and his name's Butera. And it's serious enough that you take the MVP out of the ballgame and DH him and let Butera do the catching. Pavano just really likes working with Butera, so that gives Gardenhire a chance to get Mauer out from behind the plate. Down the line, PA going over, reaching, cannot get it. Mauer will head to second base. PA will go after the baseball and hold him there. And Mauer's got a double in a 7-game hit streak.
Yeah, he just does not get good reads on balls. The ball hits sharply, but again, you're going to see, I mean, this is where you're playing him. He hits the ball to left field. You're seeing the aftermath. He just kind of took a step in and then over, so your direct route to the ball, even if you have speed. If you look at the H.H. Gregg, and, you know, once you don't get that initial read, and again, not an easy play, but just did not get the jumps. They really got to work on what happens in batting practice, coming out here, taking balls off the bat, because that's, again, it's not an easy play. But do you want to be in the dugout getting your bats, or do you want to have Mauer at second with Jason Kubel coming up?
Kubel will go after the first pitch. Our Exmo brought to you by H.H. Gregg. We make buying TVs and appliances simple. H.H. Gregg price and advice guaranteed.
You know, at some point you got to realize in left field when a left-hander hits it, it's slicing away. I mean, it
usually does.
Yeah, it does.
Kubel trying for the RBI. So here's where Morneau is not in the lineup. And the reason we talk about that is because Morneau's got the second best average in the league. He is 9th in total bases. He's among the leaders in extra base hits. He is 8th. He is 3rd in slugging. He is 1st in on base percentage. He has the best road batting average in the league. All Justin Morneau. And Morneau is suffering from a concussion and is not on this trip. The delivery will be taken up high. Jason Kubel with a 1-ball, 2-strike count. A play that looked so innocent resulted in the last concussion. I mean, he took the knee to the head. It didn't look particularly hard, but he couldn't get up because he felt dizzy, and he has been dizzy every day since. And until that stops, he cannot be medically cleared to come back and play. Part of that comes from his younger days as an athlete. In high school, he suffered concussions. They're not really sure how many. As we've mentioned, concussions are a cumulative factor injury. And you know something? They're concerned about how serious this is.
It really is. And, you know, you were kind of talking about a little bit yesterday. All the reports say that he's getting better, but it progressively gets worse as the days goes on. So you get a little bit dizzy, lightheaded. You can't play baseball. So they just hope it settles down. And sooner than later, of course, not only for the franchise and whatever, but for Justin. Terrific player.
1-2 delivery. There have been careers ended because of concussions that have built up. And nobody wants to talk about that around the Twins, and everybody hopes it's not the case, but it's a concern. A 2-ball, 2-strike count on Kubel. Kubel 3 for 15 with a home run lifetime off Millwood. 2-2 delivery is outside, and he goes full in the count. So the second full count of the inning. And Kevin Millwood here, coming back off the DL, has had to work. 16 pitches thrown so far.
Yeah, so we've seen this from Kevin because of the lack of run support. I mean, hardly got any early on in the year. And again, he was pitching so well. First 9 starts were real good. But, you know, when you're getting anywhere from 2.5 runs a game while you're in there, maybe 4 over the course of the ball games you start, you have a tendency to do exactly what he's doing now, especially. And again, I don't want to get on Felix Piet, but they're just balls that could be caught. They aren't caught. And now all of a sudden, when you're not used to getting runs, you try to make the perfect pitch. You haven't pitched in 17 days. Very difficult to be able to do that.
So now there are 2 on here in the first inning with 2 down. And Kadair, who also has a 6-game hit streak, will stand in. Kadair's got a monster .423 batting average against Millwood with 1 home run lifetime. Kadair gets the RBI chance, but there are 2 away here. And that'll miss outside for a ball. Kadair's hitting .269 with runners in scoring position. And obviously, the way Kevin Millwood struggling here to find the strike zone early, they're going to take some more pitches.
Well, yeah, they're going to look for a ball. I mean, Kadair, you know, last year, 32 home runs. He can drive the ball. And it's a little different ballpark at Target Field than it was at the Metrodome. But right here, he gets himself into counts where he's thinking, maybe not home run, even though this is a home run ballpark and the ball's been carrying. I'm going to hit something hard, right center, left center, and that's one of his strengths. And he's got a count to do that.
2-0 count with 2 down. Kadair takes it outside, and Millwood not close here. And the count will go to 3-0. Keep in mind that for the Orioles, the starters have worked a grand total of 15 innings in the last 4 games, with an ERA of 14.5. So the last thing that Juan Samuel and company want is to have to go to that bullpen early in this ball game again, because as Samuel said before the game today, it has been overused. 3-0 will he take? He does, and it is there for strike 3 and 1.
Yeah, and waiting on deck is a guy that's about as hot as anybody on their team, almost hitting 400 in July, and Delman Young hitting over 400 with runners in scoring position. You know, he wants to get up there with the bases loaded if you don't throw a strike to Kadair.
3-1, and he didn't. So Millwood has walked 2 here in the first inning after getting the first 2 outs. And the bases are loaded. And Delman Young, whom we were talking about, is another of the hot hitters in this lineup. He sits safely in 34 of the last 41 games at a .377 clip. And he's got the bases loaded.
Yeah, the only good news about him is that there you go about runners in scoring position at .289. That leads MLB. And they did it last year, too. They had over 300 as a team. He does expand the strike zone, but the way he's swinging, and if you've seen Delvin play in years young, yes, he has lost some weight. He's really gotten himself fit.
And he was really pounding the ball in batting practice. And the slider's going to miss outside for a ball.
So that's probably a pitch that 2 years ago, and again, he's only 24, same age as Adam Jones, he would have swung at. Good slider down the way, pitcher's pitch. But he just says, I'm not swinging at that, not this year.
He's 5 for 14 with the bases loaded this year. He doesn't have a grand slam, and Millwood's in real trouble in this at bat as he falls behind him 2-0.
You talked about Morneau out of the lineup. How about Tomei? Because they rest Maurer and they want Butera. He's only 6 for 10 with 3 home runs. But he's been working with Delman Young, a veteran guy you had a chance to talk to. You don't need any veteran to tell him you're looking for a pitch to drive right here.
And he tried to.
And it's a good one. No, yep. That was a pretty good 2-0 pitch by Kevin. Well, the way he's been pitching, not a lot of luck as far as run support. He needs to get lucky here. He's got to throw a strike. That's the first thing he's got to do. And then he's got to hope that Delman Young puts it in play at somebody.
He's given up at least 2 runs in the first inning, 8 of his last 9 starts. And out here, and he can end that. 2-1 delivery on the way, and Young will take that one down the line and right, and it will go foul. So Kevin Millwood comes back to even up the count on Delman Young at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So a early important moment in this ball game for Kevin Millwood and for these 2 teams, as this is the big chance for Young Young's a .283 hitter here in this ballpark. He's never had a home run at Camden Yards. 2-2. 3 on Mauer, Kubel, and Kadire. 2-2 delivery to him, and Young will again punch it down the line. It'll head to the seats.
So you get an idea of how well he's swinging. There you go. Delman Young leading this ball club because of that exceptional over 400 batting average of runners in scoring position. Cabrera, of course, right up there with guys that may win a triple crown. Certainly capable of hitting home runs and high average. So he's seen a lot of good sliders, Gary. If he makes a mistake, boy, that's when you worry. It may be the pitch of choice, but you make a mistake, you will speed up the bat. They won't be down the right field line. They will be somewhere up a gap.
His .419 average with runners in scoring position is #1 in the American League, and the only hitter who's over 400 in the league in that department. 2-2 count, 2 away. Millwood a pitch away from getting out of it, and inside will take the count all the way. So 3-2. Mauer, the lead runner, doubled. Kubel at second and Kadire at first, both walked.
Yeah, Young's only walked 17 times in 309 at bats, so he's a very aggressive hitter. It's got to be close, but it's also got to be a quality pitch the way he's swinging.
3-2. Runners go at first and second, and Young rips it in the air deep to left field. That ball's on the fly. It'll hit at the base of the wall. It's going to clear the bases. A double as Mauer, Kubel, and Kadire all score, and a 3-0 lead for the Twins.
Well, we talked again. I hate to be the forecaster of doom, but let's take a look at what we talked about early on. He's going to get behind him. There's a good slider, just misses. Pulls the fastball off the corner. Good fastball, swing. Right here, good slider. Talking about if he makes a bad pitch. So again, there's 3-2. Watch this one. Right in the middle of the plate. The 5th slider he's seen. It hangs. Man, he's not missing those kind of pitches.
That's 70 RBIs now for Delman Young. And the Twins jump out.
You see, again, such a hittable pitch. The good slider just doesn't slide. There's no tilt to it. So it kind of almost like it hovers around the hitting zone.
He's now tied for 4th in RBIs in the league. And Millwood really struggling here. That's way out of the strike zone. And it will go to 2-0. So Rick Kranitz, well, here he comes. He's already had to start thinking about, all right, if this goes on, what are we going to do here with this bullpen that has been so taxed? And they want Millwood, obviously, coming off the DL, to have a chance to be in this ball game. But as has happened so often with the Orioles this year, it's another opponent jumping out in the first 3 innings to a lead of 3 or more runs.
What really hurt him, though, PA, yeah, maybe he gotten a better jump and might have been able to run that ball down in the corner. But even then, it's the back-to-back walks. I mean, that really sets up the inning. Yep. You give up a run in the first inning. Cavano, of course, has won 6 in a row. But 1 run's usually not going to beat you, as good as he's been.
J.J. Hardy is the shortstop. He did not play against the Orioles in the games in Minnesota. Gets ahead of him gets a strike in, and a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Young on at second base. 2-1 delivery to Hardy, and that is in there for a strike. Hardy had a wrist contusion that had him on the DL a couple of times. Came off on July 3. Getting back into playing condition and trying to get Young in here as Millwood steps off and Young goes back to the bag. The Orioles are not trying to hold Young close here with 2 down. 2-2 delivery. Hardy, a ground ball towards second. Moore bobbles it, but gets it over there in time to get the out. Hardy retired, but a bases loaded double by Delman Young, and a 3-0 Twins lead. And Jones, Moore, Tatum, and his tourists. Tejada against Pavano, the 5 for 8 and a long ball.
Take a look at our PNC scouting report. Well, P for pitcher. I mean, this guy can pitch. He can pitch both sides of the play. Little cutter, Fox changeup, splitter. He's won the last 6 decisions. And again, one of the more efficient pitchers in baseball. He doesn't mess around. 13.8 pitches per inning. He will come at you. Has he pitched against the Orioles? Well, he did this year. They shut him out. Well, that's not going to happen tonight. They presented him with a nice gift. 3-run cushion.
Pavano with a 4-3 record lifetime against the Orioles. Felix Pie will lead it off. Pie was not involved in the games played out in Minnesota. Pavano with a 1-0 delivery. Pie will take that one in the air to right. Kubel. And he's got it. Couple of pitches, 1 out.
Yeah, to take a look at the Twins defense, nobody in the American League. Only the Yankees within distance. 34 errors. That's the lowest in the league. Young, Span, and Kubel. Punto, Hardy, Hudson, who's won a Gold Glove. Kadire over at first. He can play everywhere. And then Sal Baterra's son behind the dish. He, a personal catcher. Well, it's working. Wouldn't you say
yes,
so?
It is. Well, he hasn't lost in 8 starts. Baterra has been behind there. Pavano is 6-0-2 in his last 8 with an ERA of 2.74. Tejada first pitch to short. Hardy makes the play. Efficiency.
Yep. Yeah, I thought they would be among the leader. I should have known Cliff Lee, who doesn't. Why throw a ball when you can throw strikes? But again, the key to him is that he can pitch to both sides of the plate, and he does have a changeup, and he has a little bit of slider, and he has a mustache. That's the 4th thing. That should have been my 4th key to the game. He's turned it around. Well, yeah.
Yes, he has. Now, Markakis is doing what you would have thought maybe the guys at the top, PA and Tejada, might have done. I mean, Millwood been out there for 20 minutes pitching, and 3 pitches, and there are 2 outs. Nick Markakis. He will take one to second base. It's going to be a tough play. Hudson gets some help at first from Kadire. So a quick inning for Pavano, who sets the Orioles down in order after 1-3-0 Twins. A no-hitter. He struck out 10, walked 3, the 9th no-hitter in team's history. Kevin Millwood got it. And, of course, the next question is, how about the next game?
Well, the biggest question I got between that game and my next start was, is he going to be able to do it again? How long is he going to take a no-hitter into the next game? And it didn't last very long. I gave up a hit to the leadoff batter. And it was actually kind of a relief, to get it over with and not have to worry about it, and then just, get into the game and try to win.
North Carolina native with that no-hitter, and probably that is the best thing he can do after no-hitters. Get it out of the way with the next game and just give up a hit and then go on.
Yeah, it's not going to. you could be a real good pitcher and never pitch one.
Yeah, so absolutely. Nick Punto leading it off here, and he can bunt and tries to. Punto will be followed by Butera and then Span at the top of the order. Kevin Millwood covering the bases subject tonight. 11th round pick for the Braves, 93. Acquired by the O's in the trade with Texas for Chris Ray. 14 seasons, 157 wins, ERA of 4.1 lifetime, and 21 complete games, including one this season.
Yeah,
was in a losing effort.
And coming off a 13-game winning season down in Texas.
Nick Punto will foul that one away, and the count will stay at 2 strikes.
Yeah, you kind of wonder if the season had started a little bit early because he was pitching so well. I mean, they got him over 6 runs a game last year in Texas. But here, of course, it was the opposite. Maybe 2 runs a game. And then you get in one of those ruts where you think you got to be perfect. I mean, he's a veteran, and he admits, I'm afraid to pitch to contact. And you saw that in the first inning. Now, that could be part of, the missing the time because of DL. And, I mean, he's around everything, and he stands way on the right side of the pitching rubber.
Has not pitched since July 5 in Detroit, where he worked only the 1 inning. Then the arm problem took him out as he gave up the 5 runs on 4 hits and 2 walks in that ball game in just the inning of work. Punto will take the pitch inside. Obviously needs a good inning here in order to keep this pitch count somewhat reasonable on average. Against Minnesota on the 8th, he gave up 3 runs on 7 hits in 7 innings and took a 6-1 loss in Minnesota. And he will step off. Nick Punto will step out. Another one of the big averages against Millwood is at the plate. 458 for the third baseman lifetime against Millwood. 2-2 delivery, and he'll slap that into left field for a base hit. He's on with a leadoff single here in the second inning. Tonight's second inning brought to you by Luna, a Luna doubles board, double play ground outs, most in the American League. Minnesota Twins, the only team over 100. The Orioles right behind them, White Sox, Royals, and Red Sox. Call today for the Luna double and get your second room of flooring free. Call 877-241-LUNA. So Millwood will hope that applies right here. Double play.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he bunts. You would think that Ron Gardenhire would like to get Pavano a chance to have a 4-0 lead.
Butera's got a couple of sacrifices.
Yeah. You know that Joe Madden might be thinking about it. 9th place hitter, hitting 155, trying to get runners, trust his pitchers.
And Joe's got the day off in Cleveland, so he's probably managing this one. Joe, you didn't get it done.
No.
Center field, Jones is there. Runner tags, forcing Jones to make a good throw, and he does.
Well, what it did was, and we've seen it early in the year, where he would just casually go back, catch the ball, but they have really been on Adam to circle around the ball because this is a tag-up situation. See right here. Now, get ready right here. And then he's got a strong arm, and you're not going to run. But Nick Punto went back to tag up, as he should. So John Shelby got to be happy that paying attention. Otherwise, he's going to be at second.
Yeah, that was a deep fly ball.
Yep. But you got to know that. I mean, that's part of just growing up and learning the game. And
now the leadoff batter. Here's Span. He grounded out his first time up after a good at bat. You see the speed demons of the league. Carl Crawford and Span with 7 each in the triples department. Pennington and Sednick follow them at 6 each, and a couple players tied at 5 in triples. Span against the Orioles, 5 hits and 18 at bats on the season. Pickoff throw down to first. Punto gets back in. Tatum with a good throw behind the left-handed hitter. Pretty good chance.
Yeah, again, you had that good secondary lead. Primary lead, secondary lead, even if you're not stealing bases. You got a chance to at least maybe score on a double. Of course, Craig Tatum, good throwing arm. He's always trying to pick people off if he can.
Base stealers are 5 out of 9 with Millwood on the mound. Tatum has thrown out 2 of 20. This Minnesota team, an advantageous group offensively. They, like Tampa Bay, they try and make things happen. Stolen base wise, only 12th in the league, 12 out of 14. There he goes. Hit and run was on center field. Jones again.
Makes find it. Yeah.
Now he's got a chance at first base. Here's the throw, and he got him. A double play as Nick Punto was all the way at second and kept standing there. And Jones had time to make a one-hop throw to Wigginton to create a double play. No runs, one hit, nobody left. He did not know where the ball was.
Well, now again, it's just, yeah, see right there, he tries to pick it up. He hears it. He doesn't know where it is. He looks at third, can't get any help. The Stars just looking down at the base like it's underneath it. I don't know. And then Adam Jones makes a terrific throw.
He goes over to Jerry White right out of the slide at first to ask, where was that?
Well,
that's a pretty good play by his tourist.
Well, yeah, it's like
he was just kind of like confused. He looked like he was confused himself. And Nick Punto just couldn't figure out what was going on.
Well, Jerry White had a smile on his face. I mean, obviously you don't want to get doubled up, but I think he knew that he didn't know where it was.
And he wasn't hearing White, who I'm sure was hollering out to him.
But again, two nice plays by Adam Jones because he really paid attention, circled the first fly ball, and then the second one didn't assume it was just going to be one out.
Good help for Millwood. Here is Luke Scott, the DH who comes in with a 6-game hit streak, and since his return, hitting .500, 2 home runs and 4 RBIs since coming off the DL. Carl Provano will miss inside with that and falls behind to the count. Among the designated hitters, Luke Scott is second in average, 4th in home runs, 6th in doubles, 8th in RBIs, and 1st in slugging for the DHs in the American League. Young is going back and will make the catch.
Yeah, just enough location. And again, Pavano, he tried to go in twice in a row. Sure, he looked at the film, those 2 home runs that you saw from Luke Scott in the Tampa Bay series. Fastballs, one around the pole, one to deep right center field. But he had everything. He had breaking balls, had changeups, and just missed that one. Pretty good swing, though. But this is what this guy does. He tries to stay out of the center of the plate, but he also makes you aware of both sides of the plate.
Pavano, 34 years old, 17th pro year, 13th in the majors. A big bust with the Yankees. Ty Wigginton up. He took a lot of heat in New York. He signed a 4-year deal and appeared over the 4 years in 26 games because of injuries, ultimately including Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, that was 2006. Boy, 9 wins for $40 million. If the anybody can afford it, it's the Yanks. I mean, it's not like they're hurting for dollars.
This year, look at how he's on a run.
Well, again, and what a great, they score you runs. You're pitching well, and that's what it's all about.
And he's on a 1-year deal.
Yeah, they got him last year. You look at his numbers last year with the Indians because he took an incentive-laden contract with the Indians, and they got him because he walked about 18 guys in 100-plus innings. That's what they want over here. And then, of course, he pitches well for them. They sign him here. And he's won some big games for him. Won the first game in Target Field.
Big turnaround.
He beat Halladay, beat Santana.
Yep. And he is second in walks per 9 innings, second fewest. That's a major turnaround for him. So, of course, he walks Ty Wigginton. He's only walked 19 in 135 innings pitched. But the Orioles get a man on here with one away, and Adam Jones coming to the plate. Adam has been putting up some really solid numbers from the month of June on. It's been a consistent streak that he's on, and that's really what, as a hitter and as a ball club, you want to see, to be able to get into a groove and be able to stay with it for an extended period. He's hit safely in 31 of the last 39 games at a .316 pace. This one back to the mound. Pavano, there's one. Hardy, there's two. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. The pitcher's best friend, the double play. It remains 3-0 Twins.
Guys are going to catch it, and again they just clear their ways, and they get the double play, one pitch. So maybe that walk not as bad as we thought it might be.
What you're taught to do, right? Throw to the bag.
Exactly.
Somebody's supposed to be there. And he had the guy coming in the right direction, Hardy, the shortstop. His motion, of course, taking him with the throw to first base. So Kevin Millwood back to work here. Here is Orlando Hudson with his 10-game hit streak. He saw only one pitch in his first at bat and flied out, hitting .415 during the hit streak coming into tonight's ball game. And he will take a strike on the inside corner. Rawlings Gold Glove Award winner at second base. Highly sought after second baseman for both the glove and for his bat. .290 average.
Yeah, switch hitter. He can steal some bases. 4 times he's won the Gold Glove. I thought it was 3. They don't highlight it. You gotta go year to year.
And the print's small.
Real small.
Real small.
Yes.
Yes, I noticed that. As a switch hitter, .294 right-handed, .289 left.
And of course, the Orioles saw him early on because he came up in the Toronto Blue Jays organization, and when he started, and then last year the Dodgers, year before that Arizona.
Gee, it's a foul ball, but sounded good, didn't it?
A little cutter that got inside. Yep, loud crack.
All of these players today at batting practice, they were smiling, Kadair in particular, about hitting here, saying, my gosh, after coming out of our new ballpark, which we love, but it is not a hitter's ballpark. To come into a yard like this, they said, it's like you're just going to have to be careful not to try and overdo it, because it's so tempting to just wail away at every pitch. Their ballpark is, Michael Kadair said, if you want a home run, you better hit it down right or left field line. Anywhere else, it's in the yard.
And they have
go to the gaps for doubles.
Yeah. Well, and that's like Citi Field. And, and Joe Bobber, the hitting instructor, said, we did let it get into our heads early on in the season. When it's cold, the Orioles were there in early May.
Yeah. 2-2 delivery on the way. Hudson will take it up high, 3-2.
That's the unusual thing. And, of course, they've had some injuries to some of their starters. Liriano's pitched well. Pavano's pitched well. Scott Baker will be pitching in this series. He had a cortisone shot. Slowey, a little bit of struggle. Blackburn to the bullpen. So you think the ERA rate would be down, but it's not. It's gone up, actually.
3-2 delivery on the way. Hudson to second base. Moore. And Hudson is retired. One away in the third inning. Tomorrow, the first 10,000 fans 21 and over will receive a freezable Orioles tankard presented by Guinness. Stay cool during our Birdland summer with a fun night of Orioles baseball. For tickets, 888-848-BIRD. Go to Orioles.com. Minnesota Twins are very concerned about their starting pitching. Their ERA is in the middle of the pack. It is 7th, but it's gotten worse, not better, as Jim said, as the season's gone along. So they're really taking a look. They had some hope that the Roy Oswalt move might be theirs, that they might be able to acquire him, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. The St. Louis Cardinals are red hot for Oswalt.
What he wants, apparently, he's got an option for not only 11, as we look at what we're talking about, the batting average on base percentage. Hitting, especially if Morneau can come back, that's not going to be a problem. But the bullpen's number one, and the starters, they just have to get back to where they're usually, which is they throw a lot of strikes. Take their chances.
Mauer got a double and scored his first time up. Joe is in there as the designated hitter in this ball game. We're talking about Butera being the catcher and him DHing. When Butera catches with Pavano, Pavano's ERA has been 2.84. When Mauer catches him, it's 3.79. Now, is that fair? I don't know. It obviously depends on who they're playing and how the night went,
and where you're playing.
But Pavano likes Butera, so that's why he's in there catching, and Mauer's DH.
Well, it makes a lot of sense, too, because you figure Joe Mauer's probably going to catch 125 games as it is, and then you want to get him in because he's won 3 batting titles. So you can give him an off night and not hurt your offense.
Great.
Now, tonight, of course, by doing it, you lose Tomey, 6 for 10 with 3 home runs, who's having a really good year for him.
2-ball, 1-strike count. One away, base is empty, and Mauer takes the pitch on the inside corner for a strike. Mauer's a major factor in baseball's ability to draw fans around the league. He is one of those players who, when on the road, attracts fans to come and see him play, even on the opposing team, and justifiably so. This is one of the game's outstanding young players.
Yeah, both on and off the field. So that's what makes him so special.
2-ball, 2-strike delivery to him. And Mauer takes that to left field. That is near the warning track. PA will put it away, and Mauer's retired. And there are 2 down. Tonight's Thirst Inning Moment is brought to you by Budweiser, official beer of the Thirst Inning. Budweiser, it's what we do.
And nobody's getting that beer. Not in the 3rd inning. Thirsty third.
Looked like a lineman tackling a quarterback. I'm not going to let go. 3-0 lead for the Twins. 2 down here in the 3rd inning. Jason Kubel drew a walk and scored in the first. 2 walks in that first inning by Millwood, and both would cross the plate. And Kubel was one of them. Kubel, as far as the home and road part of this season, 267 at home, 261 on the road. Doesn't affect him very much. Home runs almost equally divided, 6 at home, 5 away. Kubel will take the pitch, and the count goes to 2-0. Millwood is working behind a lot of hitters.
Yeah, especially, the first inning was just a disaster after PA doesn't get a great root on the ball. It falls in, and then just, again, has missed 17 days. But he doesn't want to throw Jason a lot of fastballs because he's a pretty good fastball hitter. Now watch the glove, and look where the ball was. That's like a foot, 16 inches away. So usually that ball gets hit real hard. Craig Tatum's going to slide to the right outside corner. And look at that. Just pulls it. Again, that's tonight's windup so far. Hopefully it'll settle down and the Orioles offense will come back to get the O's in the game.
2-ball, 1-strike count with 2 down. And Kubel will rip that one right straight back.
Just enough up to get out of harm's way.
Both watching closely. Juan Samuel on the right, the manager, and his pitching coach, Rick Kranitz, keeping an eye on the comeback here tonight. For Millwood, his 402nd Major League game, 394 as a starter. And here at Camden Yards, 16 starts here in his career, 5-5 in this ballpark. 2-2 delivery, and got him on the inside corner. So that's his first strikeout. Kuba didn't agree, but Bill Hahn, the home plate umpire, thought otherwise. 3-0 Twins. Non-prime game. Gary Thorne, Jim Palmer here at Camden Yards as the Orioles continue this long home stretch. And the first of 4 against the Twins. It'll be the bottom third of the order against Pavano, Moore, Tatum, and Turris. Orioles have won the last 3 games against Minnesota played here in this ballpark. And as we said this year, they split the 4-game series at the new ballpark in Minnesota. Pitch is taken away for a ball. The Detroit Tigers have won their game today. They got a 5-2 win against Toronto. So the Twins need a victory in order to stay even and tied for second with the Tigers. And once again, it sure looks like the wild card's going to come out of the American League East. So these other divisions are going to, any team that's going to go to the postseason is probably going to have to win the division in the Central and the West.
Yeah, you'd be 12 games out of second place if you were the Twins, if you were in the American League East.
Pitcher's got a cover. Pavano, the underhand flip from Kadire.
Yeah, there's that changeup that acts like a splitter. Just kind of rolls over. He got Markakis out in the first inning. It's just it's a hitter's count. He's looking fastball, and you can just see him. It's such a great pitch, movement. It's down. And again, if you can command that outside corner with your fastball, boy, and then you come in as he can do. This is why he's pitching. Kind of an interesting story because I was reading where he grew up in Southington, Connecticut, but he was a Yankee fan. But he went to a Red Sox camp when he was 12, and he met Curt Schilling. And then guess who he gets? He's an instructor at the camp, and then Curt Schilling, of course, gets traded over here, and then he ends up getting traded up to Montreal. For Pedro Martinez in his first Major League victory against the Phillies and Curt Schilling. Thanks for the tips, kid.
He was drafted by the Red Sox in the 13th round back in '94 to begin his professional career. Pavano with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Tatum had an 0 for 2 in the ball game last night, but has done an outstanding job working behind the plate with Matt Wieters out. Matt is due back on Sunday. Tatum hitting .273. He's in his 30th game. This will be his 24th start of the season. There is Matt, who's working out daily with the Orioles. Fouled away. Brian Roberts, of course, is working out with the Orioles at the minor league level, while absolutely begging the manager and the organization to put him back. And there's no decision yet. Juan Samuel said before the game, we're going to wait. Juan Samuel really doesn't want him playing in Toronto in the artificial surface. But he said, look, if he does come back, we could play him one game, DH him one game, and have him on the bench for another. There's a Baltimore chop to short, and that's going to go through for a base hit. Hardy knew he was going to have to short hop that, or he had no chance, and he couldn't get a glove on it.
Yeah, he was playing shortstop. Of course, he was with Milwaukee last year, and this was still at the Metrodome. Might have caught this because you play on the turf all the time. And right here, that's the only way you can catch it. Tatum's going, boy, I'm going to have to leg this out. He didn't have to. Ball gets under JJ in the left field.
So the Orioles get their first hit.
And it really does, yeah, excuse me, Gary, but it sets up the inning in a sense because Pavano, again, you're thinking, I'm not going to hit a lot of home runs off him, but maybe I can get a ball in the right field here by the first baseman. Nope.
He got that one to center field and deep, but Span will get there. Runner halfway, and his Torres retired, and there are two down. Tonight's Maryland Lottery Hit It Here fan is Denise Clarkson from Rising Sun. If an Orioles player hits the Hit It Here sign located in the bullpen area, Denise, you got $100 grand. To find out more about how you can become the fan of the game, visit mdlottery.com/hitithere. Denise, Brandy and the Rainbows, 1961. Good luck. Two down. Here's PA, who flied out to right field his first time up. Well, the Orioles hope the numbers on Pavano are true. Second time through the order, oppositions hit .292 against him. First time, .241, and the third time, .208.
Well, he's a big guy, 6'5", 230, 40 pounds, so he hides the ball well, and he's got pitches to get good fastball hitters like Felix PA out, which is a changeup.
No runs on one hit, no errors, and one left on base. We've completed three. Twins 3, Orioles nothing.
In the Brace farm system at that time, they had a lot of good pitching coaches and still do. But I felt like those guys put me a step ahead. Being able to work with them every day and learning some of the things that they learned from pitching in this league. And I don't think there's anybody better to teach you about Major League Baseball than guys that have been here.
Right out of high school for Kevin Millwood and the opportunity to play baseball. Dale Murphy, his childhood hero as a Braves fan. Millwood on the mound here, and that ball by Kadire to right. Markakis over, and that'll be a foul ball. There are the two boys, the love of his life. Kevin 9, James 7. Two sons who have the opportunity to watch their dad play Major League Baseball. And One of the fathers who can't spend enough time around the kids. He loves having them. Kadire drew a walk from Kevin Millwood and would score in the first inning. Oh. Way back left field and goodbye home run. Kadire got all of that one, and it is a 4-0 lead, his 10th of the year.
Well, when he's healthy, he's a home run guy. You know, came in again, a big ballpark, 9, hit 32 last year, about 4 years ago, hurt the year before. So right here, trying to go in, doesn't quite get in, and he's all over it. And in this ballpark, and of course that ball crunched. Even at Target Field, that ball's going out.
His third home run in this ballpark in 24 games. Delman Young to right center field. Markakis. And he's got it. And Young, who had a bases loaded double his first time up, flies out on one pitch.
That was really until that home run. In fact, even the home runs, they happened. But the only bad pitch he's really made tonight, other than the walks, was the hanging slider to Delman Young after he'd seen 4 or 5 earlier in the count. That's the one he hit up the gap.
Kevin has now surrendered 21 home runs on the season. That will tie him for the most in the American League.
Well, he's always been a high ball pitcher. And this is not a good park to be throwing fly balls.
Not in this kind of weather in particular, where the ball is really been carrying.
You know, relatively, the dirt's harder than it's probably been over the last month or so in front of home plate. The field, the actual grass, pretty slow. But balls in the air, that's trouble.
That's going to be in the gap to right center field. Hardy is on with a base hit. He's 1 for 2 in the ball game. They estimated the home run by Kadire at 430 feet. Wow. That was back there.
Wouldn't matter what part they're in.
Oh. 4 runs, 5 hits for the Twins. 0-1-0 for the O's.
Higher wall out there left.
Yes. That wouldn't have helped on that one.
Well, but I'm watching tape the games, and we'll go home, and the Indians won 2 out of 3 against the Twins up at Target Field. And Carlos Santana, the young switch hitting catcher, he hits a bomb to right. I go, just see the hit, and you go, oh, home run. It's a double. Look at this high wall with the limestone, native Minnesota limestone.
Popped up to second base by Punto. Moore's got it. And there are 2 down. Hardy will go back to first base. It is a beautiful ballpark. Any baseball fan who likes to get around and see the yards, that's one you absolutely want to see. The Minnesota Twins were saying, as well as liking to hit here, how much they love this yard when they were out in BP. Love coming here. It is one of baseball's most beautiful ballparks, if not the one. Just the setting here at Camden Yards, despite all the parks that have been built since Camden Yards was built, it's still a ballpark that is much admired. That ball put up in the air down the line in right field, and not quite. Ty Wigginton, the only one who had a chance, and right at that tarp. The ball was on the other side of the tarp.
They got to put the tarp somewhere. Yeah, the rubberized track and no place to hide the tarp. Only design flaws at this ballpark.
Wigginton makes his way back. He'll hold the bag on Hardy. Nick Punto flied out his first time up. Kevin Millwood already up by 68 pitches. We are in the 4th inning. And bear in mind, this is his comeback game. So we'll see how far he can go. He's not on any kind of pitch count here. It'll be strictly on his effectiveness.
Yeah, no, normally when you get physical problems deep into the season.
That one's right at PA.
Yeah, it's really not going to affect your pitch count whatsoever. It's just how you pitch is more important.
A home run by Kadire. 1 left on in the inning. A 4-0 Twins lead. next one. It would be Bob Gibson 51 years later in 1974. 2002, over 20,000 Red Sox gathered. Fenway. It was Ted Williams. Tribute night included U.S. Senator John Glenn, who was Ted's wingman as a fighter pilot in the Korean War. And in 2007, the tragedy when the Tulsa Drillers' first base coach Mike Coolbaugh died after he was hit in the head with a line drive, thus resulting in the mandatory requirement at the major league level and all the way down that coaches wear helmets, as they do now.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately, of course, I was doing something for some drug company. I was in Columbus when that happened, and the Drillers had happened maybe 2 days earlier. So, big fundraiser and whatever, but it really got everybody aware of how dangerous it is.
A real tragic loss of a young dad. And the other thing you do, you look at Gary Allenson now. It's one of the reasons umpires let the coaches wander. Tejada's up. He slashes balls. So Gary Allenson down at third base has created his own third base coaching box, which is miles away from the real one, just to get out of harm's way and give him a chance to react a little bit on those hard line drives that come down the line.
Yeah, I would think that the only time the umpires are ever going to say anything is that if actually you would be in a more advantageous area to see what the catcher signals or whatever. This is just a safety thing.
Yep.
That's their concern.
And that one will be in the air to right field, not deep, and a nice running catch made by Kubel. Tejada retired, one away here in the fourth inning. The Orioles-Twins game on Saturday, originally scheduled for 4:10, is now a 7:05 game. It can be seen locally on MASN 2 HD. The gates open at 5 for season plan holders, 5:30 general public. For tickets or details, 888-848-BIRD, or go to Orioles.com. So Saturday is a 7:05 first pitch. And Brian Mattis scheduled to go against Scott Baker in that ball game. Nick Markakis. It'll be Jeremy Guthrie and Brian Densing in the ball game tomorrow night, and Jake Arrieta and Kevin Slowey scheduled to start Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, Nick Blackburn to the bullpen, and Dunsing coming in, a little left-hander. Actually pitched the third game of the playoff. One of the, I guess, the third time as we look at Brian Roberts. Speaking of little guys, good to see him back.
Not activated.
No.
But he's ready to go. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Markakis, who grounded out his first time up. Nick has become more aggressive at the plate, evidenced by the fact he hasn't walked since July 7th. His on-base percentage has dipped down 20 points since June 29, but his slugging percentage has gone up 12 points. 2-1 delivery, and that's what he's trying to do. Drives it deep in the air, right center at the wall, and it's caught. Denard Span with little room to spare.
Yeah, that's probably the farthest point in this ballpark. And that's exactly where he hits it. And then again, you got a very fleet center fielder that makes that play look easy. I mean, again, it looked like a change up. That's what he got him out the first time. And then it just seems like it dies a little bit. And he's there to run under it. Well, he plays deep. And why not?
He can run, can he?
Well, yeah, and again, for most outfielders, and really haven't seen Denard play as much. Obviously it's Adam Jones. It's just so much easier to come in. And in this ballpark, it's such an intimate park, balls off, get over your head in a hurry. I don't mean the home runs. I mean the ones for extra bases.
Luke Scott. You take a look at the difference. The Warren area is where Adam Jones tends to play. It's to the left and in. You can see it.
Oh, yeah, right here.
Right there. And you saw the differential as to where Span plays.
Yeah, and the point is that here, ball's over. It's hard to go from first to third in this ballpark if you charge balls well, even if you play a little bit deeper. So, again, if the balls get over your head, it just leads to more runs, more guys in scoring position. I mean, as a former pitcher, I just hated to get them out at second base. You could have a bad night or a game where you give up 7, 8, 9 hits. Through the first 6 innings, but if they're singles and the guys aren't taking the extra bases and the balls that are hit over, deep to the ballpark are caught, makes it a lot easier to hit and pitch.
3-0 delivery to Luke Scott, and he will ground that one towards second base. Diving Hudson cannot get it. Scott is on with 2 down and has a 7-game hit streak now. Boy, Luke has loved hitting at home. He's hitting .323 here at Camden Yards and .241 on the road.
Yeah, 3-0 hitting. Why not? Going to throw you a strike. Thrown 38 pitches to get 8 outs or make it 10 outs. 11 outs. I can't add tonight. Very efficient is what the point I'm trying to make.
Thursday is not a day for adding.
No. Apparently not. Of course, Mr. Wigginton would like to add a couple like he did yesterday.
Wigginton will take it for a strike on the outside corner.
Now, this is actually the kind of the same scenario as he did it yesterday. He was down 4-0 when he hit a 2-run home run.
Tie against Carl Pavanos only had 4 hits in 19 at bats. However, 3 of the 4 have been home runs.
Well, that's why he walked him the last time. Now it all comes together. You know, there are some guys that he knows how he wants to at least attempt to get him out, and that would be stay down in the zone, maybe some change-ups, sliders down and away. Couldn't execute it the last time. Ended up walking it. See, there's a breaking ball that just goes outside, change-up.
Wiggy being pitched to very carefully by Pavano with a runner on at first base.
See, and this is one of those situations, if you're a Twins outfitter, you want to play a little bit deeper. Last thing you want is a ball over your head, because that will score a run. Maybe.
And a big cut, and Wigginton unable to catch up to it. Ty Wigginton in this homestand is 6 for 26 with 2 home runs, 3 RBIs.
And here's a home run swing, 93. So Pavano, again, the master of adding and subtracting.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Runner at first base, and Wigginton on the sliders gone. Pavano gets his first strikeout. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. Great to have you with us. 4-0 Twins. We'll take a moonshot at it.
Well, Mauer's done it 3 times. Does that count 3 times?
Tony Oliva?
Well, Tony Oliva won a couple. Carew.
Yeah.
And
Kirby never won one, did he?
Yeah, maybe Puckett. No.
I don't know.
No, Killebrew didn't do it. Let's see. So we got Carew, Oliva, and Mauer.
And Puckett.
And
Kirby Puckett?
Puckett.
Hey!
Hall of Famer.
Son of a gun.
Oliva could be in the Hall of Fame. I vote for him every time I have, every other year, in the Veterans Committee.
What a hitter.
Tony Oliva Salone. That's what Wally Bunker used to say. So when I came to the big leagues, I said to Milt Pappas, who was a veteran pitcher, I said, hey, how do you pitch Oliva? Throw it down the middle. He hits everything else. I go, okay.
I like that.
Yeah, you know.
Hey, why waste time? He's going to get a hit.
Yeah.
Get it over with.
Right.
Denard Span fouls it off. 1 ball, 2 strike count. He is hit into a double play and grounded out.
You know, years ago, when Tom Paciorek did the national games, he gave me a readout of every guy I ever faced because he was 5 for 13. He wanted me to know that.
Yes.
So I looked up because the Twins are in town. Oliva hit 344 with no home runs. Killebrew's in the Hall of Fame, hit 130, but with 4 home runs. I helped him get to that,
magic mark.
Yes.
That one to left field. PA in fair territory makes the catch.
Yeah, he almost couldn't get a real good read on that one either.
2110 Utah Street, presented by Home Savings of America, and Southwest Airlines returns to Oriole Park Saturday. The Birds host the Twins, 7:05, one low price. Reserved Utah Street bleacher seat, exclusive 2110 Utah Street t-shirt. Nick and Adam will have some baseballs to give away between innings to fans in their locale. Space is limited. 888-848-BIRD, Orioles.com. 2110. Orlando Hudson, he is grounded out and flied out. Millwood, 341, the left-handers, 272, the right-handers. So you see a lot of lefties coming to the plate in this lineup. Hudson is a switch hitter. Nick Punto is a switch hitter. Millwood with 2 walks and 1 strikeout. The Twins struck early with 2 down. Mauer had a double, a couple of walks, Kubel and Kadire, and then the bases loaded double by Young. Driving in 3, Kadire added a solo shot in the 4th inning. There's Mauer waiting on deck. Oh, 2 count, 1 away, bases empty. And that'll be taken down low. For Kevin Millwood with that first inning, 2 down, they scored 3 runs. Kevin this year with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Opponents are now hitting .404 against him, and they have 8 extra base hits, 21 for 52. That's a big number with 2 down.
Well, yeah, again, it's again the lack of ability to make quality strikes. There's one. See, the key of pitching when you're ahead is that to make the ball close enough to give it the illusion of being a strike, and this is a perfect breaking ball because it starts to the middle of the plate, and you have to protect with 2 strikes. And again, the good breaking ball, you don't pick it up quite as well. I mean, the guy worked the next booth over, Bert Blyleven, with 3,700 strikeouts or whatever it is. He just didn't see the spin. What do you mean it's a curveball?
Didn't look like it.
No. I swung at that high heater. It just happened to dip underneath my bat.
Here is Mauer, 2 down, nobody on, a double, and he is flied out. And he will foul that one back. The much discussed Mauer bunt. It's amazing the things that develop a life in this day and age in sports with talk shows and blogs and everything else. But the Mauer bunt was certainly one of those. He laid down a bunt. Nobody could believe he did it in a situation where his RBI. And
3-3 ball game. Runners at first and second, 1 out. Kubel, who doesn't hit lefties very well.
In the air to center.
Yeah. Hit
Jones back. Look at it carry, and somehow makes the catch. Reaching backwards as he had overrun the ball. Yes, and hauls it in. for the Orioles, as Carl Pavano has a walk and a strikeout. Adam Jones will lead it off.
Yeah, take a look at the last out. Ball carrying, gets turned around, it keeps going, and in the glove.
Somehow.
Yep.
A reach back. Adam hit into a double play. 1-6-3 first time out. He's now gone 5 consecutive games without a strikeout. That is the longest streak of the year for him. He'd done that also in May. Adam has reached that group he'd rather not be in the strikeout department, being in the top 10. He is 9th with 79 Ks on the year. And that is a strike on the outside corner.
And not a lot of walks, 12. But again, the first time he just got the only walk by Carl Pavano, and then just made a good pitch with the slider, bounced it right back to him, double play ball. And you can just get an idea of watch Drew Butera wherever he's going. It seems to where Pavano, at least lately, he's won 6 in a row, as we mentioned early on, has been able to throw the ball and change speeds with the best of them.
That, said Rick Anderson, the pitching coach for the Twins, is the key this season for Pavano. The use of his changeup, you got to be able to locate it, of course, but he's locating everything, and so that changeup has become a very effective pitch.
And then even then, he got away with a high slider or a high fastball because, again, he's pitched down so well tonight early on. But the changeup, it just has real good movement, so it's going down. It's hard to get on top of that ball. A lot of grounders, strikeouts.
Here's the 2-1 delivery on the way. Jones really jammed on that one and will foul it away. A 2-ball, 2-strike count on Adam.
Yeah, the ability, even when he gets behind so far, to make good pitches. Because that ball, as you mentioned, right on the corner. If you put that ball in play, you're probably going to break a bat.
Mm-hmm. Slow roller to third. Yeah. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Pavano retired the side in order in the 5th. That ball is going to be popped up down the line, and there'll be no plays. That's going to end up in the seats.
Yeah, Hudson really going to help out Michael Kadaya. Better angle, and he sprints over there. But again, ball goes into the seats. Can't reach over because of the tarp. Can reach over the tarp, but you can't reach over into the seats because of the tarp.
And don't get hurt.
No. It's at the height where it's just like the perfect to get you right around the knees and mid-thigh.
Pavano has given up 15 home runs on the season. 9 to the right-handers. Adam Jones with a 2-ball, 2-strike count. And the fastball, and he popped the mid on that one inside with a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Minnesota struggled on the road a bit. And looking over to the dugout, maybe about the count, Bill Hahn talking to the catcher and Ron Gardenhire. They've got 3-2 on the board, and it is 3-2. Gardenhire thought the count was 2 balls and 2 strikes, and so did Butera, the catcher.
Well, I thought it started out 1-1, and they had 2. We had 2 up 2-2, and
3-ball, 2-strike count. A delivery on the way to Jones, and that'll go to short. Hardy. 1 away here in the 5th inning.
Hit it sharply, but on the ground.
Yep. Pavano's really become a vital part of this organization now, because with the starters struggling, really 2 starters who are consistent, he's one of them, and he's been the most effective. They need him now in every outing here in the second half to give them a chance to win the ball game.
And he's done that.
Yeah,
he really has.
Here is Scott Moore.
Well, his last starts in a big weekend series after playing so poorly the first half against the White Sox at home. Against Mark Burley? Under 2 hours? Beat him 3-2, complete game.
He is, as we said, a very efficient pitcher on a team that pitches efficiently. This team, the Minnesota Twins, as a club, averaged 15.4 pitches per inning. That is the fewest in the American League. And the Orioles are at the other end of that with 17.1 per inning. The Orioles are tied for first in the American League in most pitches per inning.
If you're a young pitcher, you better pay attention tonight for the Orioles, because this guy, he's 34, so he's got some experience, as you mentioned.
That one got jammed down to third base. Nick Punto, 2 down.
Boy, infielders, the good ones, they just have a sense, high chopper. They didn't pause. He had time, but he just knew, I got to hurry a little bit, and did. And then they make an accurate throw. It constantly amazes me, because it's almost like you have an inner clock. You know how fast the guy is going to be. I mean, it's really Aparicio. I first saw it. He'd catch a ball and look, see who was the league president, and then boom, beat the guy by a step.
I love it. Here's Craig Tatum. And Tatum will take the pitch. Let's take a look at our Wendy's game flow. It has been Carl Pavano, 7 ground ball outs, a walk and a strikeout, and a big 3 RBI double by Delman Young, that have been the key moments of this game with a 4-0 lead for the Twins.
Let's not forget Michael Kadire. Hit his 10th home run. We got to give him. He hit it 430 feet. Now, if he hit it out there, no, it's the wrong guy. It's got to be a home guy.
Doesn't count.
Hit it here is 430. Pretty different direction.
Jam shot inside.
Well, that's that 2-seam fastball that again just located down and in, and you swing over it.
Tatum had a single his first time up. The Orioles have only 2 hits, 2 singles. Tatum and Luke Scott. Here's the 1-2 delivery by Pavano. Did he go? Yes, he did.
Well, he's getting.
Gary Darling makes the call, and a 1-2-3 inning. And it is strikeout number 2 for Pavano, and the Twins up 4-0. Kevin Millwood returning on this summer night here at Camden Yards. Gave up 3 runs in the first inning. Orioles have been able to get only 2 singles, and it is a 4-0 Twins lead as we go to inning number 6. Kevin has certainly increased the efficiency here since that first inning and getting the outs. Only the homer and a single since the first. Jason Kubel, and the off-speed breaking ball will miss. Kubel drew the walk and struck out.
Yeah, the damage that you mentioned in the first inning, the double by Maurer and then a couple of walks, and then the big double by Delman Young. He had another home run by Michael Kadire, his 10th. And there's your offense.
Kubel, who was 0 for his last 11, fouls that one away. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
Yeah, when he's hot, he doesn't miss that fastball. He's a really good fastball hitter. Last year, 300 hitter. Smaller ballpark, 28 home runs, coming off a year that he hit 20 home runs.
.240 career hitter at Camden Yards. 1 home run here in this ballpark. 1-1. Off-speed delivery again, so Millwood really throttling back on Jason Kubel.
Yeah, changeups, curveballs. Of course, he was one of their best minor league players. Injured his knee, missed all of 2005, and then rehabbed it.
1-2 delivery to him, and the fastball will just miss inside as he had the bat slowed down and tried to sneak that fastball by him. 2-ball, 2-strike count on Kubel. Outfield pretty much straight away on Jason Kubel. Millwood's 2-2 delivery to him, and again off speed and the slow swing to foul it off and keep it going. This team has struggled a bit on the road. They've lost 9 of their last 12 road games. They are 20-25 on the road, 30-20 in their new ballpark in Minnesota. Millwood with a 2-2. Thumpity thump, and it stays at 2-2. Gardy in his favorite corner. He's tried to find a place where a camera can't find him. So far, unsuccessful.
No, that won't happen.
2-2 delivery, and that's going to be up. And the count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. .86 pitches for Kevin Millwood. We're in the 6th inning. Orioles very much within striking distance here in this ball game at 4-0. 3-2 delivery, and that's going to miss.
Yeah, he's asking it, was it in? And that's what he says it was. Home plate umpire Bill Hahn. 1 low. Nice eye by Jason Kubel, though. 3-2. Don't want to make it. Let's see. Obviously, you want that pitch. Our pitch track has it as a strike. Bill Hahn said go to first.
Well, the leadoff man is on again. That is the 3rd time in 6 innings. Twins have the leadoff man on. Is Kadire. Goes to second. Short hop more is Torres. And they get the double play. Takes care of the leadoff walk.
Yeah, Jason Kubel doesn't want to get doubled up on the fly, so watch him hesitate right there, and then all you have to do is catch it, flip it over to Sturris. Kadire running hard, but he's going to get doubled up. Tailor-made, if you can catch it. And Scott Moore, again, learning how to play second base at the big leagues level. First baseman, third baseman coming up through the minor leagues.
He's knocking him down and making the plays. Here is Delman Young. Key hit of the ball game so far. The bases loaded double in the 1st inning. He has also flied out to right field, hitting .400 with 12 RBIs in his last 8 games for Delman Young. And he's behind on the count here, 0-2. Well, for the first time since coming back to the ball club, Michael Gonzalez is up and throwing in the bullpen. Here's the 0-2 delivery, and a number that's going to be foul. Tatum tried to make it fair because he had the play, but it rolled foul.
And heads up play by Delman Young. He said, I'm not going to be standing around at home just in case it is fair. And of course,
the reason talking about the weight he lost, Jim, he really has put himself in great shape.
Yeah, and Ron Gardenhire was talking about that. He said, he finally made a conscious decision that I'm going to be the best player I can be. And he was. Anytime you come to the big leagues, you get 186 hits and you drive in 193 runs your first year. You're a good hitter. You swung at everything, and that's how the Twins got him. They needed a shortstop, and Jason Bartlett was available. They also got Matt Garza in that deal. So it took him a while, I'm talking about Delman Young, to kind of get his feet. But he's only 24. Talked about that in the opening. The same age, he'd be about a month older, actually a month younger than Adam Jones.
Great talent. 1 ball, 2 strike count to him with 2 down, bases empty, and Young will put that one to Jones. Adam is there, and he's got it. So only 3 faced in the 6th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. Is Turris, PA, and Tejada coming up. Twins lead it 4-0. Annual Bryant's Baseball Bash, presented by Bank of America and Bloom and Associates for the University of Maryland Hospital for Children. It's going to be at Dave & Buster's in the Anne Arundel Mills Mall. Silent auction. There'll be live sports auctions as well, memorabilia, and it's for the children. Tickets $200 for adults, $150 children 12 and under. Call 410-328-3637. And a strike taken as Pavano goes to work here against his Turris. Brian, we'll see when he comes off. Juan Samuel said more meetings were necessary to make that determination. He said it was going to be tough because the necessary roster change to go with it was not going to be an easy call. So we'll see what the final decision is.
Because he's on a 60-day disabled list, which means that he is not on the 40-man roster. So to come back on, somebody will have to leave, and then it makes a lot of sense. And again, I heard him, actually I was driving in, he was on 105.7, and he said, listen, I want to come back because I know the fans, they expect me to play. I want to play. I love to play. The organization expects him to play. Wants to do that. He really enjoys playing the game.
That down the line in left field. That's going to be a fair ball. Here's Turris on his way to second base. Young will get it in. And the Orioles get their first extra base hit, a double to lead off the 6th.
Yeah, one of the hottest hitters for the Orioles is the guy that just doubled. And then again, he gets a good pitch to hit. Look at the target by Butera down. The ball elevates a little bit. But again, this is all about, can you cover the outside corner of the plate? And Cesar just gets on top of it because the ball's up. A little more leverage. Keeps it fair. Got himself a double. First time the Orioles have been able to get on base to lead off an inning.
Let's see if they can take advantage of it now. Leadoff batter Felix PA, 0 for 2. He has flied out and grounded out. That one towards second base. Hudson guns it over. It is a productive out as Turris moves over to third base with one away.
Yeah, certainly going to make Miguel Tejada a better hitter. So again, you got a 4-run cushion as we look at the Orioles box score. Again, Luke Scott got a single. His hitting streak alive. Tatum, he's been hit 3 hits on Tuesday, another one tonight. And then there's Turris, who's got a chance now to score. Third with only one out.
Infield with the 4-0 lead will play back. Tejada is grounded out and flied out. And to second base, Hudson. Just what Pavano needed. 2 down.
Well, hitting with runners in scoring position, as a former pitcher, I mean, you want to get them to swing at your pitches, and that's exactly what Miguel did. That's a cutter down and away. It is certainly not a hittable pitch in a sense. You can't get it in the air. Down and away slider is tough to get up, and that's what you would think that you're trying to do there, drive the ball versus, and he hits it on the end. So it's a combination of not a lot of discipline, but also a very good pitch.
So Nick Markakis, who's sitting at even 300 with runners in scoring position, comes in. Gutera and Pavano chat. Nick is 0 for 2. He has flied out and grounded out. He has 3 hits and 10 at-bats lifetime off Pavano. Runner at third base, 2 down. This is where the Orioles all season long, the struggle has gone on and on and on with runners in scoring position. They are 10 for 63 on this homestand. They're 0 for 9 last night.
Yeah, let's not put it all on the hitters, because obviously the starting pitching has been horrid on the start. But
those numbers are hitters' numbers.
Oh yeah,
they're bad.
They're horrible.
I mean, you can't.
No, I'm not
I don't care how good the pitching is.
Well,
those are bad numbers.
It hasn't been good. That's the problem too. You don't hit and you don't pitch. That's why you lose.
And that is taken down low. No. A late call and a strike there. Markakis asking about it. And it goes to 1 and 2. Nick had backed out, but thinking that was a ball. And then the call was made. So he's got to do it with a 1-2 count. As Torres off third base. 2 and 2.
That's a purpose pitch. Didn't hit him. 93, a little extra. Get him off the plate. And it's not that Nick can't hit the ball away, but it does change your eye level. It changes your comfort with the outside corner, your perspective of the outside corner.
Is Torres, who led it off with a double. Orioles try and get on the board here. 2-2 delivery.
And then the change up away. That's why one of the keys to the night is P for pitcher, P for Pavano, P for performance. He can pitch.
Pavano, 1 walk, couple of strikeouts so far. He's gotten the ground ball outs. That one will go to short. Long throw for Hardy. And so the Orioles get a leadoff double, but will leave the base runner stranded. And it remains a VIP Experience Sweepstakes. There'll be 1 winner, 4 VIP seats, VIP parking, Thursday, August 5 against the Angels. 4 passes to watch batting practice on the field. Don't miss your chance to do all of that here at Oriole Park. Enter today at Orioles.com. Kevin Millwood. And he will get the strike. We go to the 7th inning. Hardy is singled and grounded out. Kevin coming off the DL. He has not gone deep into ball games. in the starts prior to going on the DL. He hadn't completed the 6th inning in 6 out of 7 before going on the DL, but he has completed 6 here. Gonzalez is ready in the bullpen if needed.
Yeah, you get a little bit of help defensively and make some better pitches, specifically the one pitch to Delman Young. We got a whale of a game here tonight, but they got those early runs again. Now 28 runs in his last 10 games in the first inning.
0-2 delivery to Hardy, and that will be fouled away. Hardy, Nick Punto, and Gutierrez, the bottom third of the order, coming up against him.
Yeah, when J.J. Hardy, who grew up in Arizona, when he was with the Brewers 2-3 years ago, 26, 29 home run. He could hit the ball a long way. Great hitting ballpark. Part of a terrific offense with Fielder and Hart and Braun and Hardy.
And the breaking ball, he's going to miss. Millwood owns an 0-8 mark lifetime with an ERA of 5.7 against the Minnesota Twins. One of 3 teams that he's never beaten. But no team has had this many wins against him without him picking up at least one. 1-2 delivery is going to miss outside, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Kevin hanging in, hoping that he can hang around long enough for the Orioles offense to get going and get him some runs. Here's the 2-2 delivery to Hardy, and that's going to be a full count, 3-2.
Yeah, what he's hoping is he would have a quick inning. And, he's already thrown 5 pitches to J.J.
Matt Cain has 14 starts against the Dodgers without a win. That's the most in the majors right now. Down to third off the glove of Tejada, and that'll be a base hit. So 2 hits in the ball game for Hardy, 2 singles, 2 for 3, and another leadoff man on. 4 out of 7.
Yeah, pretty good range for Miguel right here. And again, he gets to it, can't quite get to it. A little longer arms.
The arm's too short to box with that grounder. So the leadoff man is on. Nick Punto is single, and he has popped out. Tejada will move in at third base. In case the sacrifice is on here. It isn't. The runner goes halfway. Oh. Somebody thought it was on. Torres had to scoop it and doesn't get him. And Ty Wigginton, he bumped him and he's gone. Gary Darling got bumped, and Wigginton is furious. Bill Hahn, the home plate umpire, came out to help Juan Samuel.
Yeah, the low throw scooped up by Torres. Here is oh my God. It doesn't really matter if he tagged him or not. I've never seen it. Very rarely do you not call a guy out. The glove is down. Yeah, I think he got him a couple of times.
The ball was clearly there, way ahead of the runner, and what Darling obviously called was that he's saying he never got a tag on him, that he missed right here.
Well, he got it right there. He hit his hand.
Yeah, he hit his hand.
Oh, yeah. And it's not the defense, and I don't think he tried to bump him. I just think he was trying to argue the call because he thought he missed it, which he did. But if you're like, and I was talking to one of the advanced scouts, and he scouts for a team that is looking at Ty Wigginton because this is why. Because I think he's a little fed up where when you battle and you don't win, you don't like to see things happen. The better throw to second base would have made it routine at first. But Torres made a nice play. He made a good throw. He did tag him out, and you don't get the call. And sometimes you just lose it. And he did.
Jake Fox is going to come on to play at first base. We were talking about changes in the roster and who might stay and who might go when Brian Roberts comes back. Juan Samuel was talking today about the fact Fox can play other positions in the infield and catch.
Well, he played 5 positions last year for the Cubs. And I was talking to him today, and I said, I was impressed the way you caught yesterday. Hot day, called a good game, good target, made a nice throw. I mean, it was a little bit to the short side stop, but quick release, strong throw. He surprised me how good a catcher he is. So again, he's a position player. Not that if Wieters is healthy, you're going to pinch hit for him, but just another guy that you kind of want on your roster.
So the Orioles a little hot. Wigginton out. Samuel came out to get him away from Darling, the crew chief. All of that was on a play where the runner got caught between first and second on a missed sign by somebody. So it's a 1-0 count. And the pitch is taken up high by Nick Punto, and the count goes to 2-0. Obviously, Hardy thought the hit and run was on. He was not stealing, he was running, or a sacrifice, and Nick Punto never moved the bat. 2-0 delivery to him, and that's going to miss outside, and Millwood behind 3-0. Butera waiting on deck. Hardy fortunate to still be over there. There's the fastball in for a strike, taken all the way, and it'll go to 3-1 on Nick Punto. His single came in the second inning. 1 for 2 in the ball game. 248 on the season for him.
And you may see him run here. Yep.
Ground ball towards second. It's the other way, though. Only plays at first, and got him. Moore gets the throw over. The fans get on Darling, the first base umpire, of course.
Well,
Hardy goes to second base.
That's what they came for, that, and see the Orioles win.
Exactly.
Yeah, and always have terrific fans here. And again, that Hedford. I saw they did a study earlier, and it's about a millisecond slower to actually dive than to run through the base. But it does look good.
Nobody believes that in baseball.
No, they did it. Well, they actually timed it, and but it's not discernibly slower, but it is slower. And I would think that good chance of getting hurt.
Getting stepped on.
Well, stepped on, jamming your hand.
Yep.
Launching yourself at the bag. Bag doesn't give.
Here's Drew Butera. The other thing that has been measured, much on the same line, is that last step kind of a leap where you try and take a bigger stride. That also slows you down.
I would imagine it would, because you're in the air longer.
That's right. That's exactly right. Just continue running hard with a normal pace is the fastest way to get over the bag. That is outside.
I know it.
2-1.
I know 2 years ago we were trying to catch that cab in New York. Your vertical jump, you got in the air a little bit and we missed it.
Slowed me down.
Yes, it did. Definitely.
It'll be the first time. My vertical leap has not been much talked about over the years, actually, and there's a good reason for that. Nobody ever asked me to play center. Here's a shot into right center field for a base hit. Hardy will come around to score, and an RBI single by Butera, and a 5-0 lead.
Yeah, he didn't get a lot of at-bats with runners in scoring position. He's done a terrific job behind the plate, so he's now 3 for 10 with runners in scoring position by just pretty much hitting it back up the middle. Hitter's count right down the middle and just serves it into center field. A little bit lower, maybe get a fly ball, but that's pretty much center cut. And he gets a good barrel of bat to it.
Juan Samuel's just been thrown out of the game. He went at it with the home plate umpire, Bill Hahn. Gary Darling, the crew chief, is coming in.
Well, he must have thrown somebody else out.
Boy, is he. Whoa. Throws his hat out onto the field.
think it probably all started with maybe somebody else getting tossed out. So right here, Juan's coming out, and you know he's going to say something.
See, what he's arguing, he got upset. The run scored. He was coming out to make a pitching change. And he said to the home plate umpire something, that run never should have scored. That guy was out. And then he was arguing with the home plate umpire, not Darling, and then got going. And is gone.
Well,
it's good.
Little Weaver right there.
It's good. Good for the players. Good for the manager. Put a little fire in. You get tired of losing, and you expect some good calls. Here's Michael Gonzalez.
Yep, well, the things to look for, not that it's all about the radar gun, but that was one of the problems. Diminished velocity, usually throws 92, 93, 94. I did talk to some scouts that said they thought his velocity went down in September, but the numbers wouldn't show it. Played with the Braves last year, but it's definitely, did not have arm speed in spring training.
Denard Span with a runner at first base and one down. Gonzalez gets the strike. Now, Rick Kranitz was thrown out by the home plate umpire, Bill Hahn, for hollering from the dugout as Juan Samuel was walking towards the mound. Then Samuel got into it, and he got thrown out. So there goes Kranitz. There goes Samuel, and Wigginton had already been heaved prior to that. A 1-ball, 1 strikeout, and 1 away. A run in here in the 7th inning. Utera the RBI with the singles on at first base. Span is 0 for 3 and just reaches and fouls that one away. Against left-handers, pretty good numbers for Span, 273. In fact, about 5 points higher than against righties.
Well, it's interesting. You talked about the Mauer bunting with runners at first and second tie ball game. And I was watching a game. They're down 2-1 in the 4th inning with 2 outs. Runners at second and third. He tries to bunt for a base hit. Nobody says anything about that.
Yeah.
And he hits lefties pretty well.
And that's a fair ball. He's got another one. Utera will stop at second base. So Gonzalez in his first batter face, coming off the DL, surrenders the single. Michael Gonzalez brought in, of course, to be the closer.
Yeah, that's a game. Yeah, and then right here in the opening series against Toronto. But again, a lot of high breaking balls, and that's what Span hit down the left field line. Just kind of hung a little bit.
Disabled on April 10 with a strained left shoulder. Fouled away by Orlando Hudson. He had 1 save in 3 appearances when he went on the DL and has been in the rehab mode ever since.
Well, they talked about the fact that the velocity did get up to what it was just there, 92, but it wasn't getting a lot of good results. So that's what you want to look for. Change up right there, nicely blocked by Craig Tatum.
Hudson at 294 against left-handers. He too a little better number, 5 points better against lefties than righties. Good play by Tatum. Hudson has had an 0 for 3 in the ball game. 3 hits in the inning, 3 singles. Gutierrez at second, the responsibility of Kevin Millwood, the starter. That will be taken up high by Orlando Hudson, and a 2-ball, 1-strike count. There's Koji Uehara. 12 relievers used in the last 3 games by the Orioles. Down the line in right field, Markakis going over into the corner and got it. Good play by Markakis. Throws into second. They won't have a play. Hudson retired on a fine play. He disappears from view for us. So when you look at it from this angle, we'll get to see it.
Yeah, but look again how the Twins play this game. They tag up. I mean, it seems like it's so elementary, but again, if you're just watching them go down and get it and you don't tag up, you're down to have 2 guys in scoring position.
Yep. And nothing Nick could do about that, having to make that catch in foul territory and then get it back in. They will walk Mauer intentionally, which will load the bases for Jason Kubel.
Yeah, you got to pick your poison here. And Mauer, of course, 3-time batting titleist and MVP last year.
So this will be an intentional pass coming from Gonzalez. Jeff Datz is now running the ball club. He's the bench coach. 3-0 count on Mauer. Oriole relievers have 15 innings worked in the last 25 innings worked in the last 4 games, 10 more than the starters. And Juan Samuel said before the game today, we've overused the bullpen, and there's not much we can do about that until our starters start going deeper. And to Kevin Millwood's credit, he did go 6 1/3 coming off the DL.
Yeah, he just got 17 days off. The forearm problem, apparently a thing of the past, because he actually threw the ball pretty well. He just had a bad first inning and then got you into the 7th inning.
Bases are loaded, and the pitch will be taken up high by Kubel. He has drawn a couple of walks already and has been called out on strikes. Gutierrez single lead runner, Span a single at second, Mauer the intentional pass at first. 1-0 delivery is fouled away. So you do get the lefty against lefty here. Kubel 242 off left-handers and 274 off righties.
Well, that's a nice little bases loaded number, isn't it? Wow.
6 grand slams. 1-ball, 1-strike delivery to him.
See, there's a good slider, but again, it's a ball. So spring training, the first couple of games, and only the first couple of games, just not being able to control that.
2-1 delivery on the way, grounded to second base. Moore is up with it, and the strategy works. A run in on 3 hits. 7th inning stretch time, brought to you by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey. Please drink.
Days. PA can't get the double. Couple of walks, high slider up the gap. It'll make it 3-0 as all 3 Twins. And then Michael Kadire, 10th home run of the year, is 430 feet to left center field. They add the 5th run. Drew Butera, and then playing first base here in the top of the 7th, Juan Samuel. After Wigington gets thrown out, comes out. Kranis, the pitching coach, goes with him. Millwood actually does hang around for a while. But again, the big blows by Adelman Young, red hot, and then Kudayer, his 10th home run of the year. 5-0, and Pavano's been really good.
Pavano has just walked one and struck out 2 so far in the ball game. And the Orioles will try and rally as we get set for the bottom half of the 7th inning. A lot of day games around baseball today affecting the standings. We told you Detroit beat Toronto 6-2. So they are 2 games behind Chicago right now. Florida beat Colorado 3-2. Colorado's trying to make a run. They are 4.5 games behind San Diego, and San Diego lost today as they were shut out by Atlanta. How about the Braves? 8-0 over San Diego. The Braves have a 6.5 game lead over the Mets and 7 over Philadelphia. Philly beat the Cardinals today 2-0. The Cardinals' 8-game win streak ended.
Yeah, Tim Hudson, after that Tommy John, 10-5 now. And big series down in Texas with the Angels going down there to try to close the gap in the American League West.
Luke Scott has singled and flied out. I would have to say a surprise team so far in baseball for me would be the Atlanta Braves. I mean, I thought they'd be okay, but not a 6.5 game lead after the All-Star break.
No, I mean, the Mets have just totally stopped scoring runs, and Pelfrey, who was as good as there was the first 2 months, has struggled. And
the other surprise is Philadelphia.
Yeah, and they've had their pitching problems.
Swung on ace.
Oh, there's your changeup. Hope to send out our best wishes to Jamie Moore going back to get that elbow looked at. Chris, when you're what? Jamie's 46, 47.
Yeah.
You know, you can imagine taking the MRI. We got a little irritation here. No kidding. You've been pitching forever.
Pitching for almost 35 years.
Yeah. Might be a little, but I hope it's not a ligament problem for him.
That will be the first out. And here's Jake Fox. Fox is going to get his first at bat now as he comes on in Wigginton's spot. Ty Wigginton thrown out for arguing the call at first base. Had a walk and was struck out. Pavano with one away here in the 7th inning.
And most likely, if he did bump Gary Darling, there's going to be a suspension of some length.
That will largely be up to Darling and how he writes the report, whether he believes he was bumped. Because if he says no, then there won't be any action.
Well, he had to throw him out for some reason.
Well,
other than maybe
I suspect there were a couple of words there that probably weren't appropriate, and that may have been it.
Mr. Darling, you didn't get that play right? It was more severe than that. You might have erred on the wrong side of judgment.
We'll see. The 7 unspeakable words to an umpire. That is taken down low, and a 3-ball 1-strike count.
You know, it's funny, a lot of times, when you're pitching, there's so many times you could get thrown out on questionable plays, calls, and whatever. I remember I was doing a game up in Toronto, and Nick Voltaggio was
shattered the bat, gets a base hit. Fox is on his way to second base. He continues to produce when given a chance. He's got a 1-out double here in the 7th inning. Now, the last time Adam Jones was at the plate, there was an issue on what the count was when he grounded out. Take a look.
See, there's strike 1. But the board had it 2-0. So now it's 1-1. High slider, 1-2. Still 1-2. Popped away. 2-2. Now they have the count, so 3-2.
Yes. The count was 3-2. According to the umpire on the scoreboard, it wasn't. It was 2-2. It didn't matter. He grounded out.
Yeah. Hardly. Hard.
Yes.
Hit it firmly.
And Jones up with a runner at second base. It's copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Jones 0 for 2 in the ball game. Runner at second and 1 out. Right field. Jason Kruger going back. Warning track wall. Makes the catch. Fox will tag up. There have been some long fly ball outs in this ball game. Markakis had one. Jones has another one right here.
Well, again, adding, subtracting. So take a look at this. It's a long fly ball. It's a slider that just kind of cuts away and then hangs up because it wasn't in the middle of the plate. But to go back to the end of that story, so it's a close play at first. Taggio calls him safe. I thought he was out. I go, hey, why don't you just go back and give some more tickets up on the Jersey Turnpike because he was a state trooper. He said, what did you say? And I said, you sure you got that right?
Good reaction. No runs on one hit. A base runner left on. 7 complete. Effective job. Kadire is bad. Resulted in his 10th home run. Couple of runs scored as well. And for Young, the big blow in the first inning, a bases loaded double that drove in 3. Text in your vote, A, B, or C to 518-62. 20,108, 2108. The announced attendance here. Koji Uehara on the pitch.
Yeah, came on. His last appearance was in that 11-10, 13 inning game, and actually pitched really well. He struck out B.J. Upton to keep the game tied, and then came in and pitched an inning and a third, and of course, my estimation, just throwing the ball better. You can see more strikeouts in innings pitched, a little more velocity. The hamstring problem, that left hamstring, he was. And I mentioned it yesterday, talking mano a mano, not through his interpreter. He said it just pointed to his leg, feels better.
So he goes to work here in the top of the 8th inning. Our 4th drive of the game.
Is it ever?
Game of the 4th inning. Kadire's 10th home run of the season, a solo shot to lead it off. Your local Ford dealer invites you to experience Ford like never before. Ford, drive one.
Yeah, part of Koji's windup is really be able to spring off the mound. He almost like.
Now we're going to have a delay here for reasons that we don't show you. The fan on the field. I like the reaction here. They've changed the reaction of the security people. Instead of charging out, tackling, and all that, they're trying to do this quietly.
Look at wow. Well, I did see this one night in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Guy, as this guy's doing, running all over the field, and then one of the policemen with gold all over him came out, and it all ended.
thing that's happening here is he refuses to just quietly go and is just running around.
Well, he's an idiot.
Well, that's number one, but you're also adding to the number of offenses you're going to be charged with.
Oh, no.
This is really bad. Obviously, we don't show you these things in order not to encourage it. It's just running around the field and acting like an idiot. Now he stops, and he'll be corralled by the police and handcuffed.
It's kind of a expensive job.
Yeah.
I mean, or whatever you want to call it. It almost looked like Felix and Adams said, we can go get him for you.
You don't ever want to do that.
No, I know that. I still remember when Colts were in town. That fan that ran out, Mike Curtis, the linebacker for the Colts. Not getting any of my teammates.
Nope.
Not a good idea.
Michael Kadire will stand back in. We resume our regularly scheduled programming. Here's the 0-2 pitch. What you couldn't see, because we couldn't show it to you, Bill Hone, the home plate umpire, actually went out towards second base where the illegal activity of running was taking place, told him to stop, and the guy did. So the question now is, has Bill Hone ejected 3 or 4 in this game? The idiot actually became a non-idiot when he listened to the home plate.
Yeah, right. Well, Bill's just happy somebody likes him.
That guy didn't swear at him.
No.
1-2 delivery, and that'll be fouled up by Kadire.
A friend, and wearing orange, too, at the same time, you know? Come on.
It's been a long night for the umpires. It's been a long at bat time-wise for Kadire. Koji Uehara with the 1-2 delivery, and that will be down low. Gonzalez worked 2/3 of an inning, gave up a hit and an intentional pass in his first appearance coming off the DL. Kevin Millwood, the starter, 5 runs, 7 hits, 6 1/3, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. The 3 runs in the first inning and the home run by Kadire in the 4th, accounting for the early big runs. Markakis will not have a play. Butera got an RBI single in the 7th to add that last run that's on the board.
It's kind of a, every time Jeremy Guthrie, until the trading deadline's over, he pitches, he says, well, this is kind of like a job interview. But for Koji, these last 2 months are pretty important. Contract over here. If he's healthy, he probably can assume this role right here. They thought, and I honestly thought the way I saw him pitch last year, that he would be a welcome addition if he could stay healthy, which has not been the case because of the leg problems. Majerus getting ready for the Twins. Even though Pavano's just kind of cruising into the 8th.
I think the organization felt that way as well. That Uehara really was going to be an important part of the bullpen.
I think he has some value. I mean, I really think if you're a contending team and he continues to throw the ball the way he is, look at this splitter just dive. So the fastball getting better. And again, it's not like he's going to wow you with a radar gun. It just has that little skip on it. And he's got a slider to go with that splitter. So this will be a job interview for him over the next 2.5 months.
Here is Young, who delivered the bases loaded double in the first inning that accounted for 3 runs. He has since flied out. 314 with the 11 home runs and 70 RBIs. Moving up into a tie for 4th place in RBIs in the American League. And we'll foul that one away. Take a look at talking about some moves to be made. A little bit with the trade rumor situation. Roy Oswalt is probably going to go somewhere. Phillies and Cardinals are both very interested. Jason Worth may end up somewhere. The Rays are talking about the possibility of getting him. Prince Fielder, the bat for the White Sox, who are leading their division. Corey Hart may be going over to the Padres, who are pitching their way to a division title if they can continue it and get the pretty good lead, 4 over the Giants and 4.5 over Colorado.
Yeah, they said Oswalt once actually he's got another year on his contract and then an extension year like $16 million. He wants it part of the condition because he's got a no trade.
Yeah,
next year plus the next year.
Yep. Down to third. That's a fair ball. Tejadas, he got time, guns it over and can't get him.
Well, he's got the arm. He just couldn't get a handle on it. Right over the bag. Tough play.
Single and 2 hits in the ball game for Kadire.
Yeah, right here, good range. Couldn't quite get the glove on it. And then Delman Young, as hot as he is, he's sprinting down there. Jake Fox going to knock it down. I mean, it's a long way to go. You're playing percentage baseball, so you're way off the line. Saved a double, though.
That will be hit number 9 for the Twins. They are out hitting the Orioles 9-4. Have the 5-0 lead. And O'Hara will get it in. 1 down. J.J. Hardy, 2 singles in the ball game. Scored once in the 7th inning on the Butera RBI base hit, and in the controversial play of the game, where he got caught between first and second on a missed sign of some sort, and dove back into first base, apparently out, but was called safe. And Wigginton argued at first vehemently, was heaved by Gary Darling, the crew chief and first base umpire, and then later Rick Kranitz arguing from the dugout got thrown out by Bill Hahn, and Juan Samuel on his way to make a pitching change got thrown out by the home plate umpire.
Yeah, Kranitz, Rick went when ensuingly Butera hit a single in the center for the 5th run. But again, the throw beat him by so much that, and he, of course, he didn't get the advantage of seeing it from different angles, but it was obviously that he was out.
Markakis will settle under this. Hardy retired, 2 down. Back to first base goes Young.
Of course, Wiggy did kind of tag him with his oral, one of the, the Z's. But he got him. Yeah, it is. Oh, yeah. You just put the glove down, give him a little Z tag, and the swoosh. Well, no, that's another company. The swoosh. The Z. Zorro. Sign of Zorro.
That's right. Moving the glove in a Z form.
And he did do that.
Yes, he did. Here is Nick Punto. Nick has had a single, 1 for 3 in the ball game. Koji Uehara on the mound with 2 down, runner at first base, and that will miss down low for a ball. First game of the 4-game set. It'll step off and a look over. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Jeremy Guthrie, Brian Densing will make the start for the Twins. Brian Mattis, Scott Baker Saturday night. Sunday afternoon, Jake Arrieta, Kevin Slowey. Again, don't forget the Saturday game, originally scheduled for 4:05, is now a 7:05 start.
Yeah, they're bringing Brian Dunsing out of the bullpen. His pitch count as a lineman was 47, so he'll come and start.
Hard stuff in the bag. Didn't need to. Nick Punto hit it hard. And it's hauled in by Fox. What a sweet night. moved him. Rick Kranitz had already been thrown out for arguing from the dugout. As the Orioles flaring tempers. So the Boy Scouts on hand, here to learn. They will get a badge for learning at the ballpark tonight. They are more concerned about the popcorn.
Yeah, or lack of. It's gone.
That's gone. Here's Craig Tatum. He has singled and struck out. Fouls it off. Tatum is tourist in PA.
Box keeps. It never gets empty.
It doesn't. Endless popcorn. Nick Punto. Tatum retired. This is the fifth meeting of these teams this season. Minnesota 4-game set played out there. The Orioles actually won the first two in a new ballpark. It was kind of cold and rainy out that one, as Ferguson had an outstanding performance in a 2-0 win in game one. The Orioles put away, and then Jeremy Guthrie followed that one up in a victory. The Orioles 7-3, but the last two games, 6-1 and 6-0, went to the Twins. So 2-2 coming into this one on the year, and now the Orioles trailing in this ball game 5-0.
And Pavano was the one that Ferguson beat 2-0. Pitched a great game, but just got beat.
Little pop-up off the end of the bat. Hardy the best angle. Nope, third baseman Nick Punto got there. Nice job sprinting back. Orioles baseball en masse and brought to you by AT&T. Rethink possible. And by Honda. Look for money-saving leases and low financing at your Honda dealer. Nick Punto played that like an outfielder. He actually just ran back into foul territory to where he thought the ball was going to go and then got there instead of having to make one of those running catches over the shoulder.
Well, he's an awfully good defensive player. And, if you're Ron Gardenhire, he may not hit home runs, but he can handle the bat. He can steal some bases. He's going to pick it. Part of good pitching, and that's what really, I think, the step forward, get Morneau back with a concussion and to get your pitching settled down a little bit.
PA into the seats. He is 0 for 3 in the ball game.
I mean, there is, and this is the way it usually is on winning teams. There's a short leash. And you can just see, I tape the games and watch them and all that. They're very attentive that guys got to do certain things, certain standards, and that's the way it is on winning teams.
Yep. And they do.
And they do. And if you're not going to challenge the hitters, you're not going to be aggressive, you're not going to pitch the way they think you should pitch, they're going to get somebody else. And that's why the Dunsing's going to be pitching tomorrow. Yep.
1-2 delivery is inside. The Twins, as we mentioned, have the best defensive team in the American League. They've committed the fewest errors, have surrendered only 16 unearned runs on the year. 2-ball, 2-strike count, PA. With nobody on, 2 down. Fastball is there. So Pavano will get his 4th strikeout, a 1-2-3 inning, and it remains a 5-0 Twins lead. Gary Thorne, Jim Palmer with you. Summer night, 92 degrees when we started. And a ball game that has rocked along with Pavano getting a shot, it looks like, at his 5th complete game.
Well, if they want to let him out there because he only got 89 pitches, that would be 3rd in the American League, or actually 2nd. It gets tied with Felix Hernandez, Cliff Lee with 6. And shutouts, he has 1.
Koji Uehara working his 2nd inning.
And this youngster, nothing like having a guy you trust, and you know they put down the fingers, and you know you can shake them off if you're a veteran like Carl. But it's nice to. And I had that with Johnny Oates. I went. Johnny Oates got traded in the end of '72, 10-0 with him. You know, catch and throw guy, bright.
You just come to believe, don't you?
Yeah, and it's so nice. It's not that, again, you can't work around it, but when that finger's down and it's the right finger and you're on a roll, and you know, and Johnny was a terrific. Thrower, quick release, very attentive.
Butera's got an RBI single. He is 1 for 3. 5-9-0 for the Twins. 0-4-0 for the Orioles. We are in the 9th inning as the Twins look for their 51st win of the season, and will hope to gain some ground on their road trip against the White Sox and the Tigers, coming in tied for the Tigers' 2nd place in the division. Uehara with a 1-ball, 2-strike count. And Butera after the high heater. That's 2 strikeouts for him. 1 away. Find the latest gear at the official online shop of the Orioles. You can browse the largest online selection of official caps, T-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more, all for the whole family. Shop from the comfort of home 24/7. Get your gear. The official source, theorioles.com shop. Denard Span, a single. He is 1 for 4 in the game. So against the Orioles on the season, he's had 6 hits in 21 at-bats against the O's. 0-1 delivery. Even though the series tied at 2-2 coming into this game, the Twins had out-hit the Orioles 263 to 220 in those first 4 games. But it outscored the Orioles by only 5.
Well, when you win 2-0, you usually don't get a whole lot of hits. No. You just have somebody step up, and that was Bergeson, of course, coming back and for the moment establishing the sinker. I didn't do that game, but I was, taped it or watched it or whatever. It looked like just slow rollers. It's everybody.
Everybody topped the ball right on top of the sinker. 1-2 delivery, hit hard. Atom ball of Marquez. 2 down.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how balls come off the bat if you're a right fielder. If they're going to usually hook if they're hit by a lefty. If a lefty hits a ball to left field towards the PA, they're going to slice. That's why a lot of times, if you're a left fielder, you play a little bit more than line because the ball come back to you. Now, right-handers, a little bit different. They can drive the ball up the gap, but the lefty, you always want to err to the foul line because the ball's going to slice away from you.
Here is Orlando Hudson, and that's to first. Fox there to get it. Good job by Koji Uehara. Bottom of the 9th inning coming up. It is a 5-0 Twins lead. Whether he bumped first base umpire. So Pavano is going to go for his second straight complete game for the second time this year. He did it on June 20 at Philadelphia. The next one, June 26 at the Mets. Both complete games. He's looking for his fourth complete game on the road and his second complete game shutout. He had a road win against the Mets, that 6-0 victory. He's got 11 in his career. He's just been magnificent over the last 9 starts, including this one.
Well, he's, again, it's deception. And if you watch his windup, a lot of times, and he's a veteran at 34, watch the left shoulder just close. It's a little bit like Roy Halladay, where he gets himself right there down in the zone. So, again, you're going direct line. If we took a line and went right over his right shoulder, it's going right to home plate. So, again, that little tuck, now that keeps you connected, and then you just get over your front side. And that's the key for a tall pitcher. If I want to get the ball down, and that's what he's done so well, in and out, the slider, backdoor sliders, the changeup that has great depth, throw the ball downhill. That's why they give you the 10-inch mound.
Tejada's had an 0 for 3 in the ballgame. The Oriole hits a double by Ty Wigginton, the extra base hit, a double by Torres.
I don't think you see the ball very well. And he's pitched from 89 to 93 tonight.
1-2 delivery. Tejada roller to third. Big punter on the backhand. Oh, there is a quick transfer. Wow. Let's update you on the voting for the AT&T Player of the Game. Right now, Carl Pavano is on top. You can still text in your vote, A, B, or C. 51862. The results on the O's Extra post-game show.
Well, do you think the fact that they lead the American League in best defense is an accident? I don't think so.
No.
I mean, if you're going to play for this team, it's just certain standards, and that's, again, I don't want to run that in the ground, but that's what they do. This is the guy right here. It's funny because Davey Johnson had, and you know better than I, he was always hurt when he was kind of trying to play for the Mets, 84, 5, 6?
4, 5.
But Davey Johnson loved him because he understood how to play the game. And he's been able to convey that to his players. And so is the organization.
Yeah, always, top to bottom.
Yeah, Dick Bremer was saying, and this is kind of a shout-out to a guy that's going to get into the Oriole Hall of Fame this year. One of my pitching coaches, managed here, managed there. He said the guy that changed their organization was Ray Miller when he came over that first year before Tom Kelly, from an organizational standpoint. Yeah. And to this day, they still do the things that Ray brought from the Oriole organization over to the Twins.
And Dick said what he thought really mattered is that it was a guy from outside the organization who had independence and no connections and just came in and did what needed to be done baseball-wise. That's a base hit by Markakis. Nick is on here in the 9th inning with 1 away. The Orioles this season have been shut out 5 times. Minnesota as a team 6 shutouts. Orioles trying to at least avoid that.
Yeah, so watch this. One of the few pitches that, again, nice, it comes back in the middle of the plate, and right there to meet it is Nick Markakis. He doesn't miss too many of those pitches, but not a lot of pitches very hittable tonight. Only the one extra base hit by this tourist right down the left field line.
Orioles have had only 2 runners left in scoring position in the ball game. Here is Luke Scott, 1 down, runner at first. Hardy. Wow. Over to first. He let the out go at second. Hudson wasn't there, and he didn't think he was going to get there in time.
Well, it keeps the game going. Yeah. I just thought he was going to come in. Now, I guess you want to make sure you catch it. So right there, just go over. And then I guess plays in front of him. I got to defer to him. He's got a better feel for it. It looked like he could have gotten there. But it probably would have been a tough situation, but you would have gotten the lead runner.
Yeah. So don't know where Hudson was on that.
Well, he's playing him the pull and Hardy up the middle. Yeah.
All right, 2 down, runner at second, Markakis, and here is Fox. Jake in his only at bat got a double. He came on after Wigginton got thrown out of the ball game, and he will chop that one foul.
And absolutely, that's right. He had a chance. I mean, this is a shutout on the line. I don't care what the score says. You do not want to give up this run. Now, obviously, Jake Fox wants to change that, but again, the prior at bat, He hit a fastball over the bag. I don't think he's going to get a fastball to hit here.
Pavano coming into this game, opponents were hitting .204 off him in his last 8 starts, and he has not damaged that number. Team had given him almost 6 runs a game. We've got 5 of them on the board here.
And another little changeup. I mean, that changeup is almost like a split finger fastball. Change of speed, it goes down. So where do you hit it? If the ball's going down, it's very tough to center it. You get the top if you hit it at all. It reminds me a little bit of what Pelfrey was doing early in the year. He came up with a splitter that did, at least initially for the first 2.5 months or so, really make a difference.
Pavano with a walk and 4 strikeouts in the ball game. Has not given up a run. 5 hits off him. 0-2 delivery in the dirt. Trying to put this away for the Twins as the Orioles face the ace of this staff right now going into the second half of the season as far as being effective.
Well, this would be his 102nd pitch.
Markakis off second base. 1-2 delivery to Jake Fox. Nick Punto will play it. Tag put on, and the Twins put this one in the books. As they come away with an opening win, a shutout, 5-0. Carl Pavano goes 12-6. He's now 5-3 against the Orioles. Millwood the loss. He is 2-9. Join us again tomorrow. Game 2 of the 4-game set. Jeremy Guthrie on the mound against Brian Dunsing. O's Extra presented by your local Ford dealer at 6:30 on Masson HD. Our game coverage at 7. For Jim Palmer, I'm Gary Thorne. On behalf of our crew, we bid you adieu from Camden Yards. The final, the Twins win at 5-0. This